Hey everybody, it's Chris Harrison here with the Main Points Podcast. Today we have what I know will be an energetic interview. It is with Terrence Taylor. He's the CEO of TAT Global Enterprises and many other things, including DJ of the Fighting Illini, among his many hats as an entertainer. I'm really excited to talk with him about some of the work he does with mentorship and also how he helps people turn their passion into a professional field. So thanks for joining us. To some, he's known as Terrence. To most, he's known as TAT.
Yes.
Terrence Taylor, welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. This is fantastic. I'm a fan of the show.
Thank you. You have watched the show, too.
Yes.
You know, most people come in like, this is really cool. I didn't know you do this. You came in, you're like, these episodes are great.
Yeah.
And when I say, I was even like, oh, you've watched
them? Yeah, yeah. You send me the link.
People are watching.
Yes,
so,
I watched.
Good.
And you've done a phenomenal job. I think this is a beautiful platform for us to celebrate each other and our great city of Decatur.
Awesome.
Where's greater?
Very good. That's right. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to go through the titles.
Okay. Oh man,
President and CEO of TAT Global Enterprises.
Yes, sir.
Community Engagement Specialist.
Yes.
PEO. What's that stand for? So that I'm PEO.
PEO.
Okay.
Person of interest.
Okay. Do we need to remove that part?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. All right. Can you cut that, Rich?
Well, no, keep it in. We'll come up with something. PEO. Okay. I'll have something about it.
Essential Skills Facilitator.
Yes.
And DJ for the Fighting Illini and
the Chicago Sky, WNBA's very own. Isn't that crazy?
Very good.
I know, right?
That's awesome. So it's easy to like kind of laugh and go, oh man, he's a man of many jobs, many things. But like, I see you and feel like that's almost your purpose is to do these many jobs. Is that accurate?
Oh,
and why is that?
Absolutely. I've always said that I've been blessed to turn my passions into my professions. And that's something that's majorly important to me to show by all the things that I do, but to when I'm mentoring or when I'm teaching or educating or out in the community, I want people to see that you can be your authentic self and make a living off of the things you enjoy doing and not have to compromise or to fit in, but to be yourself and make yourself a brand. So, and that just comes from just my upbringing and my pops and my mom and my cousins and my aunties and uncles.
All right. So give us a little pops and moms conversation. What's kind of your background? And Decatur born and raised?
Oh, Decatur born and raised. D-Town where I stay down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised on the west end of town on Cottage Hill. My mom still stays in the same house that we grew up in. My pops, Lawrence, and my mom, Gladys. My brothers and sisters, Larry, Curtis, Doug, Nancy, Tiffany, Ashley, Mike. It's a gang of us. I'm not the only one, so we come in deep.
All right.
Come in real deep.
Keep it going. Make sure you didn't leave anyone out there.
Yeah, let me make sure. I think I got everybody.
Okay.
Ooh-wee.
So how did you go from, it sounds like a very strong and large family and family.
Beautiful foundation.
Yes, beautiful foundation. How did you then become into, I have these passions and I want to follow these passions?
I think I've always been like an entertainer slash educator. So I wanted people to, when I learn something new, I want to share it, you know? And with me, I wanted people to not only be educated, but to be entertained and to be uplifted. I always thought that one of my superpowers was to step into a room, any room that I'm in, and affect that room, you know, whether that be in a positive or a negative, and I chose positive. So when I come in, I want people to have a good time. I want people to be comfortable. I want people to enjoy themselves and each other. And it's just something that I do. I'm intentional and deliberate on how I engage with people.
Right.
So That's just been
intentional and deliberate in
Yes.
how you engage
how
with
I engage.
people.
Yes.
And I think the entertainer and educator, the
Mm-hmm.
entertainer is kind of the flash of, hey,
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? We're having a good time and blah blah blah. And
but did you know?
I think
like,
I
you
knew
know-
I could affect the room. Just of course, like a lot of individuals, with my family first. So I was always, I guess the mood lightener. You know, I think that's. No, I know this to be true from counseling. This is my defense mechanism: is to in sour moods or when things are dire, I'm like the comic relief, and I knew that I could do that at a very early age. Grew up with mainly female cousins.
Okay.
So amongst a lot of strong women from my aunts and my cousins, and we would put on shows and different things and concerts in my grandma's basement. And I knew from an early age that I could affect a room and people by bringing some type of joy, some positivity, and then that just led me to pursue radio broadcasting at a very early age. I started at Match 1050, which is now 1050 The Fan, I believe, the sports station. But I started there when I was 15.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were 15 years old on the
15
radio.
on
What were
radio.
you doing on the radio at 15 years old?
Freezing up on the mic.
No way.
Yeah. People always assume that I think I've always been an extrovert at heart, but I was very shy growing up. Like I was a shy dude, but I always wanted to get out there on stage or in a group of people. So, and I was always interested in radio, like this, like the podcast, and like I was always interested in the magic behind the mic and how can I hear somebody in my car, in my house. So I would have little radio bits at my house and have special guests, my brothers and sisters. I still got those tapes. I got to find them.
Yeah, you do.
I do need
Yes.
to find them.
So you had special guest interviews with your brothers and sisters and in your basement.
In my basement. Or
like,
in
and
the
3,
bedroom.
2, 1.
Big red button, big black button.
Yep, at the
Old
same
school,
time.
At the same
At the same-
time. See, we're telling our age right now. I used
Yeah,
to
we
click
are.
them things and record songs off of BET or MTV. So I knew at an early age that I wanted to be in broadcasting. And I got the opportunity at 15 by an individual by the name of Sean Thomas.
Okay.
Who was the program director at the time of Match 1050, and also my neighbor. So I would bug him all the time to put me on the radio because I was like, "You're gonna need a superstar like me."
And look at you now.
Now look at me.
Superstar,
Now
the
we here.
WNBA, Illini DJ.
I'm
And
just a blessed man.
tell us about the essential skills
Oh, yeah.
facilitator. What's
That's
that?
major.
Because again, I think there's all the entertainment, there's all the fun and loud stuff, but like I think it all comes back to what you're really doing is really mentorship and investing
Absolutely.
in people.
And that's the gift that Reverend Courtney Carson has given to Richland Community College as well as our community as a whole. So Reverend had came to me like 4 or 5 years ago, and like, "Hey Tad, I'm working on something that I think you'll be perfect for. It's going to be dealing with people. It's going to create some great opportunities for individuals to change themselves and their situation and break some generational curses and just elevate our community in a major way, especially targeting Black and brown individuals. And I think you'll be great for it." I'm like, "All right, so what is it?" "I'm working on it." So then I didn't hear from him for like 3 months. It took about 3 months. And then the Enrich program started with just me. And well, he had already been doing the work, but then he included me for the Enrich program at Richland Community College as an essential skills facilitator. And we deal with people, you know. We operate not just in life skills, but in making sure people have the technical skills, the social skills, and it's an amalgamation of all those things. The things that they can teach you in class, but also the things that deal with individuals deal with trauma, dealing with adversity and how to best maneuver, and where does trauma lie in the body, and when you feel your triggers, how do you combat that? All of those things, including the resume, how to dress for a
Sure.
job interview, and all those technical things. But dealing with people on a deeper level is something that speaks to me, and it's one of my purposes and my passions. And that's what I do as an essential skills facilitator. Is we do the things that employers are looking for, or if you're an entrepreneur, we work with you on that. But we first and foremost deal with the person first, because people can teach you anything, but
Right.
are you capable or in a mental headspace to receive what you're receiving and to do what you're supposed to be doing, or will you let past things hold you back from being your best self,
And
unlocking your full potential?
yeah, and I think the unlocking the full potential too, in understanding the generational, horror stories that,
Yes.
that some people have been through, and it seems like it's easy enough to say, here's a resume, shake a hand, show up for the interview.
Nah,
It's not that, and there's
It's
a lot
not.
more to that. What have you learned through that process?
that people are difficult, but I've already known that. But I've learned that everybody is going through something, and there's no such thing as a trauma Olympics. Trauma is trauma. There's not one greater than the other.
Okay.
That people, you got to give people some space, grace, and some empathy and celebration for just showing up sometimes, because you don't know what it took for individuals to even show up to class that day.
Show up either to make the action, the move to get there,
Yes.
because whether it be whatever hurdles they're dealing with to physically get there, but
Yes.
also just sometimes mentally.
Oh, yeah, just to be
like
present.
I'm gonna do it
Yes.
today. I'm going to get there.
I'm going to. I know that this too
And
shall
then be
pass,
there.
and be there, and to do something that they haven't seen before. That's seeing a lot of my students and knowing their backstories and seeing them be successful and entrepreneurs and own their own businesses, and being a better father or a better mother, a better husband or wife, active in the community. Like, those things are the rewards, that the reason why I continue to facilitate in this position, under this banner, is because of the results. And the
Right.
results are the people with changed behavior.
Right.
It is something that is magical, and it's something that is going to benefit our community. It's benefiting our community to see people who I know that were heavy in the streets,
Right.
who are now like, yeah, man, I just bought my first house. Oh, what? Yeah, I just proposed to my baby mama. I'm like, oh man, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I love about what I do in that capacity, as far as an essential skills facilitator, is seeing people better themselves.
What's the hardest part of that role?
The ones we can't save, the ones that, though you can try your best and give all the resources and the platforms and the help, some people are just on a different path on their journey. They're in a different chapter in their book, and sometimes you can't save everyone. And that was something that I had to really come to terms with, as far as a essential skills facilitator, is that though you have the best intentions and you have all these resources for individuals, sometimes they're just not ready. They may think that they're ready, but what's asked of them is a challenge. Change is hard for a lot of
Because
us.
sometimes it's the change that it's needed is so far different from where they're at.
Absolutely. Their comfortability, like, I'm used to the toxicity. You have individuals that are used to toxicity, and when you're trying to clean it up, it's like, it takes effort, because now you have to change. For things to change, you have to change. And for them, they think that it's the outside, which that's part of it. But it's also they have to make some choices and some decisions. One of the things that I say at the very first day of class is it's going to be hard for a lot of individuals on this journey, but know that it's worth it. But one of the quotes that I always say is, if you cannot grow with me, you cannot go with me. And that doesn't mean that we're beefing. It doesn't mean that you don't love your loved ones or your family and your friends and the people that you've grown up with and you've been through the trenches and the mud with. But not everyone is meant to come or go where you're going. Your journey is your journey. Your purpose is your purpose. You may want the best for your siblings or for your mom, your dad, your uncles, your niece, your nephews, whomever, people that you love to death. But sometimes, most of the times, you have to get to where you need to go for them to hopefully eventually follow your lead. But you can't take everybody with you. And you got to keep that in mind. If you cannot grow with me, you cannot go with me.
And I think that's, at first I was going to say that that's probably a hard thing to grasp, and it's probably a burden of that feeling of, well, I'm growing, they're not. Why aren't they?
Yeah, why aren't they?
But I'm sure at some point you go, they're not. And is that freeing in a sense? Does it allow you to move forward? I'm sure it's still in the back of your mind, but is that hard to leave somebody?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I've had to do it, as a husband, with my single friends. Like, I have a curfew, buddy. Like, I gotta go home.
Yeah,
like,
you don't.
It's not been said, but I got a wife at home. I got babies. My wife need me to come get these sons. And it's like that. So you'll have individuals who knew you as who you once were, and they can't grasp who you are now. So every time you come in contact with them, they always bring up old stuff or who you used to be or what you used to do, because they haven't come to terms of the individual that sits before you today. They want you to still be that goofy high school dude, which I'm still goofy, but it's
not a high school
I'm a
dude
man,
anymore.
yeah. Like, I have adult responsibilities and bills and stuff. And I think that I had a student who said, "Man, Tat, that's so hard. Like, I got some friends I really love." I didn't say you don't have to love them, but know that you trying to elevate yourself and elevate them at the same time when they don't want to be elevated is going to be a detriment to you.
So sometimes you just got to focus on you.
Always. First and foremost, if you want what's best for those around you, you have to do what's best for you. I learned that in my growth, just not even a year ago. Like, one of my weaknesses has always been stretching myself out too thin or saying yes to everything, to the point where it became a detriment to my personal life. So it made no sense for me to be out in the community and be all the things to the community and everybody else is family, but not be that to my family. So one of my things I had to learn was the power of saying no and being unavailable and picking the things like this to do because I love to do it, and protecting my time and prioritizing what matters most.
Right. I remember I'm on the park board here in Decatur and coming up on 12 years, actually.
12 years?
Yeah, I know, right?
I got to take a sip of this.
Yeah, some of that Waterloo seltzer there. Brought to you by...
Unless they cutting checks, we ain't going to say nothing yet.
Right. Sign the contract.
Sign the contract. We'll put the bottle right here. Hot.
So when I first got on the park board, they go, "Hey, we're having a ribbon cutting at 6:00, or we're having this," and I pondered it, but then I also had to go. My son has a t-ball game that night, and I am on the park board for my family and for the future and for my kids and for the community. Does it make sense to miss my son's t-ball game?
You are.
To be at this ribbon cutting. So
preaching to the choir. That right there is exactly it. That was I served on so many boards and committees and did all the things. And I'm thinking that I'm doing it for my family and how everybody loves me. And I'm doing all these great things. My wife's like, hey, we got 2 babies at home.
Right.
Why are you on the Zoom call at 7 o'clock? For what?
Why are you a participant in a group setting or something like
I want to get in the shower. Come and take these babies, please.
Right.
So it was one of those things. I was like, you're absolutely right. I say I do it for my family, but my family don't see me as much as they want to.
Well, they always say if you want to know somebody's real priorities, look at their calendar.
Look at their calendar.
Look at their calendar. In a Zoom meeting at 7 o'clock at night.
During dinner while my wife is in there cooking
right,
dinner. I'm
all day with them. Yep.
It was and I'm embarrassed when I look back on it because I had to have that point out to me by my wife and us going through counseling and therapy and stuff. I was like, man, I'm a people pleaser. Like, you're absolutely like I wanted to be all the things to all the people.
And in a way, we take for granted the people that we do love the most.
Yes.
And that do love us.
Yep.
And we're doing it for other people that like us.
Yeah, they like us.
We're cool.
Like, man.
But like we're putting off the people
that love us.
The ones that really do matter, that we do have the most direct impact on.
Absolutely. So now I'm very comfortable with saying no to different things, you know. And then I include my wife in it. I'm like, what do you think this is good one? Like, we got games that weekend. Oh, okay, that's true.
Yep. Sorry, I'm out.
I'm unavailable.
Yep. Call me in 5 years.
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
So we got the full gamut. We have, so with me and my wife, it was a blended family. So she came into the marriage with 2, and I came in with 1.
Okay.
So we have a 22-year-old, Maya. Terriana's 19.
Okay.
Brandon is 14, just turned 14 on Sunday. This past Sunday. And then we have 2 younger ones together. Ezra, who's a redhead, and I love him. And Elias, who's a curly head, and I love him too, and he is something else. So yeah, we got the 2 boys.
And how old are they?
They're 4. Ezra's 4, and Elias is 1.
Man, you are in all the worlds now.
Yeah, and
of 19, 14, and the youngers too.
And Amaya, who's 22, has a daughter. So I'm a grandparent. You're looking at a grandpa right here. This is what a grandpa look like.
Cool Gramps right there.
Cool Gramps. This is just what it looks like.
There you go.
That's because I was being mannish. Had our babies young. Yep.
It happens.
That's another episode.
Yep. But yeah, we could share on that too.
Take a sip of this.
Yes.
Yeah, so the family is, and then they don't stay young for long. So with us having the full gamut like that, I was also reminded of how important it is to spend intimate, intentional, and deliberate time together. Like, I've always been an active, involved parent, but I'm more so now as I've gotten older and gotten to a point of freedom and flexibility in the work that I do to do a podcast as well as pick up and drop off my son from MAP, you know. And that's what I'm thoroughly enjoying. I thought that once I start to say no and become unavailable, that somehow what I've always done would like diminish in some capacity. But I've learned that my stock has gone up.
Well, it has, and I think your value.
Yes, the value.
The value of the time spent
Yep.
goes up.
It goes up because now I see that individuals like, man, if I get Tat to be a part of this, that's saying something. But before
that's what we said.
Hey,
that's what we said.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But it is true because of, and not just it's because of the experience that you have and the commitment you have and the dedication that you have to all the things.
Yes.
But most importantly, to your family.
To my family.
Because if you do all the things and your family's a mess.
And my family is in shambles, that's like, I would be a failure if I were to allow what I claim I do all this for to fall apart. that would be the biggest. So I'm glad that I had caught it when I did. And now I'm thoroughly enjoying everything.
And I think life is hard too. And I heard you say, counseling there a couple times. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm
no,
all about
this
counseling.
isn't. I mean, there are hard things that we all need help working through.
Yes,
So, and we've talked
absolutely.
about some other times about this, mental health on the episode too,
Yep.
and just understanding what that is, and I think just being aware of it.
Yeah.
Too. I was raised, and yours is probably similar, where it's like we don't talk about feelings, we just go to work.
Yeah, you just work it out.
Just go to work, and not even work it out, just work.
You just work,
and then it works.
and then you just bottle it up,
Yeah.
and then it'll come out wherever it comes out.
Yeah, usually messy when it comes out.
Oh,
when
it's
you do
messy
that.
when it comes out. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know for me personally, it's when you're an individual that takes on a lot of people's things. Like when I'm talking to some students and I'm feeling like, oh man, that's a lot. You got to have some more outlets for making sure that you're at the top capacity that you can be. When you're dealing with serious issues with individuals who life is lifing, and to figure some things out of why it is that this is a trigger, or why do I operate in this capacity? Where does this come from? So just the peeling of the onion has
Right.
been very, very informative and impactful in my life. Yeah.
How do you see, I guess, where does education and really just opportunities in life, where do those intersect? And I see what Enrich is doing and what Richland is doing. And, I think even the public schools, we're starting to see some of this opening up to education is not just, reading, writing, and math. Like it is more about the essential skills, the life skills. I mean,
Absolutely.
Gosh, date ourselves here. When I was in high school, we had a home ec.
Yeah, home ec,
How do
yeah.
we cook pasta? And
I had home ec.
and so I think the home ec topics or the essential skills
Yes.
topics are different certainly than they were when we were in school. But also, are the educational systems adapting to the needs? And then how does answer that first?
I think that now it's come to a head as far as like the partnerships that we have, for example, with Enrich Community College with DPS 61, having a partnership in that we're creating pipelines. I'm always talking about you got to be intentional and deliberate on what you do and how you do it. There should be an end goal. All right, bam, that's the goal. Now, what are the steps to get to that goal? So if we want people to and I see this coming, especially in what we're doing now with like clean energy and having a pipeline for jobs and stuff like that. In programs where people can take Richland classes as a high schooler and get credits and graduate with their associates, as well as their high school diploma at the same time.
Right.
Being intentional and deliberate of creating opportunities and not just going through the basic of the traditional.
Right.
And given what I love now that I don't think that we had growing up was options. It was either you go to college or you go to the military, one or two options. And if you were I've seen this change as well. If you had people that were in the trades, you could lean on them to get you into the union and trades and stuff like that. But besides that, you didn't have many options besides school or the military when I was in high school. And now we see that change of promoting trade schools and having programs that are deliberately tied to different things, from obtaining a CDL to seizure with the clean energy, with the pre-apprenticeship for those who want to be in the union and the carpentry and the electrician and all of that, and being active participant in that has been very promising. And I think more of that is needed, especially now. And so for the essential skills, tying that into the programs that we have and what's needed within the schools is you have to address people's essential needs first. And that's something that we teach in class. And that's something that we teach when we're training educators and the big wigs of, everything you have is nice, but you got to think of when people come into class, if I haven't had a meal in a couple of days, or I'm homeless, or I'm going through some stuff at home where there's domestic violence in the house. Do you think I'm gonna come to school ready to hear what you're talking about?
Right.
If I'm hungry, if I'm going through some real life issues at home, and I've heard the arguments of people like, well, is that asking too much of the schools and stuff? Oh, absolutely. I think that as well. But I think having programs that can partner up with the schools who can take care of those essential needs. One thing about Decatur, though, that I love about our city is we take care of our community. Like when there's a need, we come together,
right,
in droves,
right,
and we make sure that us collectively have what we need. So unlike other communities.
And I think the question of the essential skills, and is that putting too much on the schools? I think a fair answer is it is, but
we have to take that into consideration.
We got to figure it out.
Yes,
we got to figure out. Maybe there's a program that comes in early in the day, or somebody else is really good at this, but they're already at a different location. How can we bring them to the location?
Collaboration is key, baby.
So the delivery of it is more efficient too.
Yes.
And I think to the different elements of carpentry and clean energy and electrician and
all the things,
even culinary.
Yeah, culinary, yep.
We are a service economy.
Yes.
And I think it elevates the people involved in those roles and those trades and helping their life and their lifestyle and their home situation, but it also helps elevate our entire community and population too.
Yes.
So it makes it all more well-rounded.
Yes, and that's what we should be focused on and intentional and deliberate on our collaboration, and know that we don't have to do all the things.
Right.
Slay in your lane, baby. You slay in your lane.
In the lane.
Yeah. So whatever it is that you are a master of your craft, do that in service of this that pertains to that, and this pertain. Like it's all, it's all communal. Of wherever I'm weak at, you're strong, and vice versa. So we can tackle different situations without me trying to reinvent the wheel or come up with a bunch of different programs that are identical to whatever somebody else is doing and doing it better, just because I think that I should be doing it.
Right. But in collaboration with others, the wheel is there, and does the wheel just expand and get bigger? Yeah. And when you take the same wheel and you add outer rings to it, now you cover more territory.
Absolutely.
With that same wheel, and it is stronger.
Add more layers to it.
So when we build this bigger wheel, didn't know we were going to go with that analogy.
Big wheels.
But hey,
you see how things come together?
5 to 10 years from now, what does that look like? What other services do you see as potential add-ons, or what are areas that you think are being not addressed and maybe we don't even know how to address?
I see, especially here in our community here in Decatur, I see our city and our community advancing into not following the crowd, but leading. Like I'm very, very optimistic in what we're about to do in the clean energy space and the renewable energy space. I think that our city the foundation has always been industry. factories. That's how my dad got here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the black community came from Brownsville, Tennessee. I'm pretty sure we're all related. So we all migrated here for the jobs, for the factory jobs.
That's what your dad came from,
Yeah,
Brownsville,
he came from Brownsville,
Tennessee. Okay.
Worked at Wagner's for 30 plus years.
And I also look at that and go, the life that he created by moving the family here,
Yes.
coming here to raise the family, he elevated the lifestyle and the opportunity of his family from Brownsville to
here.
Decatur.
Yeah, it advanced it tremendously, generational, and we can get back to that by being ahead of what's here already, but to look to the future and be the hub. We have the capacity, we got the space for it. We got individuals like ourselves who we see the future in the industries that are being toyed around with, but I could see Decatur being the leading for what's to come, whether that's in clean energy, whether that be in programs that make sure that individuals in the schools have their essential needs taken care of, different ways of educating as far as making sure those needs have been met, and knowing that individuals have different ways of learning. There's so many things that we can cover and make sure that not just the students, but the educators are taken care of. I worked for the school district for 3 or 4 years prior to me working at Richland Community College in my current position. And we have some wonderful educators, But across the country, we have phenomenal educators, but we got to make sure they're taken care of, I was one of those educators.
Socially, emotionally, financially, everything.
And all of that, all the services that I was making sure that the students that I served had access to, I needed access to as well, And it shouldn't be like that,
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it is.
But it is.
And so what do we do about it?
It is.
And I think it's there are things happening. Should there be more? Yes. Is that putting too much on the system? Maybe. But how do we continue to grow the
wheel, baby?
How about it?
Wheel.
So, and
wheels.
again, I think the concept of some of the leading technology, the leading science, the leading, future of energy or production or manufacturing or whatever the future is, we still need everybody to come along and elevate. It can't just be, hey, these people are really smart and they advance the community. It needs to be...
The buy-in has to be there.
The buy-in has to be of the construction worker, the truck driver, the operator. Like, it takes everybody
being on board,
elevating to the next phase of life.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you elevate a generation too.
That's how you elevate a generation. That's how you get it going. That's how you keep it going. Is by, of course, addressing what needs to be addressed on the here and now, but also looking ahead. For the unseen.
Right. And being prepared for it.
And being prepared for it.
You can look ahead for the unseen, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But because we're doing this and this and this, so that when the unseen comes, we can go, oh, yeah, we didn't know it was going to be that.
But we're already prepared for it.
But we're already preparing.
Yes. Instead of you die where you... And Reverend Carson had said to people, but you die where you're comfortable. That's where you
die where you're
comfortable. Where you're comfortable, you no longer grow. You're good. You're like, I'm good, and I feel like in our community we've been good for so long because we had the big factories and we had these jobs and positions where my dad didn't even have a high school education, but he came up here and worked in a factory, was able to buy himself a home, a few cars, had a team of kids. That's not like that anymore. So I promote the education piece. I promote the programs and the pipelines and being intentional and deliberate on how we collaborate and how we make programs that are specifically designed on what it is that's needed. So to fill in these positions, once, for example, if we're building these factories and stuff for the clean energy, bam, that's perfect. But to have a pipeline, but bam, we got 2,000 people ready. That'll be graduating by the time that it's ready, and getting them prepared. To just a pipeline.
Right.
And that's how we get it going and keep it going, and being.
And then that
fearless
pipeline
enough.
feeds that industry, and it feeds any other industry that we're not anticipating yet.
Absolutely. Then we get the brand new homes, and we get the new construction, and we get then everybody eats, But we have to be intentional, deliberate, and fearless in our pursuit of, yes, this is great, but it can always be better.
Right.
And not being comfortable with like, hey, these factories will be here until the end of time, cut scene, no, they're not.
Right. Happens quick.
Happens quick.
Yeah.
So never to get comfortable in any
Right.
position.
What do you admire most about the people of Decatur?
The helpfulness. Like, I am who I am today, not on my own accord. It's been individuals who were happy to bring me along, and to assist me when I need assistance, take care of me when I need to be taken care of, and celebrate me when I celebrate. Correct me when I
was
need
going
to
to say,
be
probably
corrected.
thump you when you need it thumped.
Correct me when I need to be corrected. Help me accountable. And that's what I love most about the community here is the making sure that we're taken care of. I love how we come together, not just in times of needs, but for sure, if we need something collectively, our community steps up like that, and we get it done. So, yeah, I love people in our friendliness. Like when I'm a happy, proud representative of Decatur when I'm out and about. Like when I'm in Chicago and people are like, man, you always smiling. I like that. Like, yeah. Even people that come down from the bigger cities to our programs at Richland will be like, man, your energy. I'm like, yeah, that's how we operate around here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a speak, I'm a smile,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, people's willingness to give up their time, their money, their their knowledge, sharing what they know. Yeah, that's what I love about our community.
What would you say to people that are not from Decatur? Through real estate, through a lot of changes the last few years, there have been a lot of new people that have come to Decatur for many reasons. Families here, cost of living, remote work, small town. I've had people move from, one guy moved from Colorado. And I'm like, oh, okay. What do you think of Colorado? You think Denver?
Yeah, Denver,
he goes,
Colorado.
No, man. Like I was in Colorado.
I was in the mountains.
Way out there. And not even the mountains.
Not even the mountains?
Just rural.
Ooh,
just a small town. And he's like,
nah.
This town's great. This is the
crazy.
biggest town I've ever lived in.
You're like, oh, man.
So what would you say to people that are here for any different reason?
You know what I would
what
say?
should they expect about Decatur?
What I would say is it doesn't smell that bad.
It doesn't.
Okay?
Only on certain days.
Only certain days. Okay?
I grew up on the farm. We say smell of money. So
hey, we say that to this day.
Yes.
What I would say is the community is phenomenal. You would never have to go it alone. We are a community that if there's an issue, we will address it, even the uncomfortable issues. That's another thing I love about our community. We will hold each other accountable and address the issue unlike any other community where there's a lot of segregation and separation, where it's us versus them within their own community. That's not like that here. Another thing is we have some wonderful neighborhoods and beautiful homes. Like the home that me and my wife are blessed to have is anywhere else would be millions of dollars. So the real estate here is phenomenal.
That it is.
Yes, it is. And that's something that my younger self would be like, man, this is your house.
Right.
Yeah, I like to make my young self
go running through the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to make myself proud, especially my younger self. I'd be like, man, my young self would love this.
Heck yeah.
No,
I think another thing I just want to add too to people that like if you're not from here, reach out.
Yeah.
And talk to people. I mean, reach out to Tat.
I'm easy to get a hold of.
Get on his schedule. You got, he's got priorities
to get a hold of.
But I think because then you'll really learn the root of who the people
Absolutely.
are and where the opportunities are, whether you want to help or need help.
Or if you need help. And I love that we will find what's a gap. And we will do our damnedest, excuse my language, to fill that gap.
For emphasis.
Yes, I want you to feel it. You felt it?
Yes.
Yeah, you felt it. So I want people to know that we are in the community here where we'll see a gap and we'll fill that gap. We'll be like, all right, this is what needs to be done. This is a program that we need to fund. We need to start.
Right.
This is resources that we need to make available for this, that, and the third, and we'll make it happen without a lot of red tape and just people who are poo-poo on it, and we'll get it done.
Yep, that's what we do.
We get it done.
Decatur does. Okay. With that, thank you very much for your precious time.
Hey, listen.
I know it is very valuable time, and I do appreciate it.
This has been great.
Yes, definitely. We appreciate you coming on and. Maybe helping out in the future too. Maybe help us spread the word a little bit too about what we're doing.
Whenever you need me,
okay?
I will be here. We've been talking about doing something for the longest.
Right.
For years.
I know, and I didn't even know we were doing this. That was before I knew I was going to do a podcast.
You see how it just comes together?
How about it?
So, yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. As expected, that was a great conversation with Tat. What I really enjoyed most was how he talked about elevating generations. His family coming from Tennessee originally to Decatur, and then now the work that he's doing, and I know the people around him are doing to help elevate the next generation. So again, thanks for joining us.